Napheesa Collier used her exit interview as a platform for protest. She accused the WNBA top office, specifically Cathy Engelbert, of systemic, consequence-free failures in terms of officiating, player respect, and safety. This is following Coach Reeve being fined $15,000. And when you look at the Coach Reeve situation, you're like, okay, I can understand why she was fined. It was a bit dramatic. But we look back over the season, Coach Tyler Marsh from Chicago was also ejected. Similar antics. He approached a referee aggressively. He had to be restrained. And then he went into the post-game press conference and doubled down, criticizing the referees. Now, the WNBA doesn't make public every fine, but it's interesting when they do. This is why I believe that the way that they punished Cheryl Reeve was strategic and it was setting a precedent. Y'all are not about to keep openly criticizing the league in which you play for, the officials in which we hire. When we look over the season, there have been multiple complaints from head coaches across the league about officiating and inconsistencies. It's been Coach Reeve, Coach Hammon, Coach White, Coach Brondello, Coach Johnson, Coach Conclanis, also Coach Nakase, and she was fined as well for her statements, but we have not heard about any of the male head coaches being fined for their statements about the referees. So even though these sentiments are league-wide, it doesn't look like they're being punished the same way consistently. Now, since Napheesa Collier has made these statements, Cathy Engelbert has responded. And honestly, I think this is pretty quick for a Cathy Engelbert response. But she said, I have the utmost respect for Napheesa Collier and for all the players in the WNBA. Together, we have all worked tirelessly to transform this league. She says, my focuses remain on ensuring a bright future for the players in the WNBA, including collaborating on how we can continue to elevate the game. And she's disheartened by how Napheesa characterized her conversations and league leadership. But even when our perspectives differ, her commitment to the players and to the work will not waver. Now, while the bulk of what Napheesa talked about in her exit interview surrounded officiating and those inconsistencies, I think some of the things she highlighted about her conversations with Cathy Engelbert highlight some red flags from an ethical point of view. The leader of a league saying that the only people who talk about officiating are the losers is wild. That's crazy work. Like, yeah, as fans, we say that to another fan at the end of the game who might be butthurt about it, but you are hearing from a direct worker. They are inside of the game and they're telling you about their issues. And not only them, there have been fans criticizing the physicality that has been allowed in the WNBA. We don't have enough information that is saying these players are becoming more injured due to the physicality. But if we're just using the basic eye test, we can see that there have been missed calls. Where is the accountability? In the men's league, the NBA has more of a review process. There's more accountability on the referees because we can't act like fraud and betting does not exist. Tim Donaghy, the biggest scandal in the NBA, happened around 2007, 2008. He served 15 months in prison for throwing games. Right now, De'Erica Hamby, Stephanie White, and the WNBPA have all come out to support Napheesa Collier's comments. One of the most important things that needs to happen right now is that the players and the coaches, they need to stick together because ultimately they're on the same side and they're fighting the same fight. Former NBA player and NBPA leader Eaton Thomas had a podcast. He brought on other NBA players, Theo Radcliffe, Mo Evans, and Billy Hunter, and they talked about their time in the NBPA and what they had to go through. And one of the biggest things that he highlighted is they had to stick together in order to get the things done that they needed to. Mind you, these people, Eaton Thomas is one of the foundational members in the NBPA that brought the CBA negotiation that the current NBA players are receiving. That was because of players like Eaton Thomas. He talked about the schemes that the owners push to the media in order to drive this division and to push a specific narrative. He talked about the owner's playbook. They always repeat big, scary numbers, like they're losing billions, but they won't actually open the books to show you the losses. He said they use the tactic of dividing and conquering. He specifically cited Derek Fisher being the mole in the NBA players who actually went back and was telling things that were going on in player-only meetings. He warned that Caitlin Clark could potentially be that player that they try to do that to, because they're going to try to put the haves and the have-nots against each other. And that comment made me think back to when Napheesa Collier alleged that Cathy Engelbert said Caitlin should be grateful she makes $60 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Unity in this type of situation is a non-negotiable. The truth is that the owners don't want to burn down the product. They want to make money. They need to come to a resolution very soon. And that's just pay the players what you owe them. They're not asking for anything unreasonable. They're asking for a fair share. Today, the WNBA just announced that they're going to broadcast at least 50 games on the USA Network. They keep releasing new media deals. And these are long-term deals, 11-year deals. So you're continuing to sell a product at an undercut rate when you know that people are unhappy about this. It's blatant disrespect. I think that a lockout is inevitable at this point. I don't think that the NBA or the WNBA understands the leverage that the players have at this point. What worries me is that this doesn't feel like an organization that's going to play fair, because anybody could see that the WNBA players have leverage right now. Refusing to negotiate or come to terms gives me a sense of overconfidence from them. But what are your thoughts, Hoops Tribe? How are you feeling about the climate of the WNBA at this point? Napheesa Collier's bravery. Does this make you feel any differently about Cheryl Reeve's antics? Let's talk hoops.